It can be loud. Yes, let it be loud. Please, that's nice. But also, it can be the day-to-day kind of thing where, sometimes you find it hard to get through a day, that somehow you're always looking forward to weekends. When you graduate and become a professional, that's going to be a reality for you. You'll always look forward to weekends. And how do you cope with day-to-day? Reality is, in relationship with God, you can have a steady day-to-day walk with God, and an energized praise for Him, and a constant acknowledgement that He's with you. It doesn't have to be all, but it's just simply in your heart, you're coming to grips with the reality that God is with you day to day. The greatness of God calls us to live a life of praise. And the first 3 praises I want to share. The first praise is the praise energized. The second praise is praise without exception. Verse 3. Declare His glory among the nations, His marvelous works among all the peoples. Wow. He's saying, talk about Jesus, or talk about God among the nations, among all the peoples. What would push somebody to talk to a classmate, or even when you graduate, talk to a kabarkada or something about Jesus? That you would just break the norm of everything else that's going on around you, and you just ask, how are you doing spiritually? What would bring a person to take that bold step and just ask and just be concerned about the person spiritually? Let's see, there. So again, what would drive you or drive a person to do that? Among the nations, among all the peoples. He was talking about Gentiles, people who weren't God-fearers. Why would you talk to other people about when they're not of the same view as you? I know it's right now here in Stillwaters, we're growing deep relationships with one another, and I say deeper relationships than there have ever been in Stillwaters. And I think temptation, though, is to say that these relationships are so good and these relationships are so nice na dito na lang tayo. And we don't go out and start talking to other people about God, because it can be a scary thing. Because they don't believe in the same things that we believe in. What would push a person to do that? Verse 4. For great is the Lord and greatly to be praised. If you know how big God is, you know how great He is, you know that without exception, He is the God of every single living being. He's the God of Stillwaters, He's the God of your family, He's the God of your friends, He's the God of atheists, whether they like it or not. He's the God of everybody. And we're to celebrate that. And if you don't realize that, if you postpone talking to a friend about his spiritual life or trying to engage another person, you give excuses like he won't listen to me anyway, or excuses like I'm not that spiritual naman, or bakit na naman niya ako pakikinggan. You give excuses like that and you say next time na lang. You're telling your soul, God is not really that great. Therefore, you praise Him, but you only praise Him in your circle. He's not the God of atheists. He's just your thing. And you're telling that to your soul. And every time you tell your soul that, this connection that you have with God, it doesn't get cut, because Jesus established that for us. But it gets so dull and so dense that you're not able to really participate in this relationship with God. And so I would say, for your soul's sake, declare among the people, among the nations, the works that God has done. It's not an obnoxious thing that you start telling people you're wrong and that, but it's more of, hey, let me share with you something that's been very meaningful and helpful for me. Because I believe it can be helpful for you. You may not believe it yet, or you may not know it yet, but this could change your life. Ever said that to somebody? You know that you can say that to somebody? He is to be feared above all gods. For all the gods of the peoples, again, everybody, are worthless idols. I think of when we all get into the professional world, we have bosses and peers and things like that who kind of make us uncomfortable, with what we believe and about Jesus. And so, we fear them. Although dito, sinasabi mga gods na yan, idols na they're made of wood and all that. But, and then we can say na wala namang ganun ngayon. Well, in reality, there still are idols and there still are gods. We make idols in our hearts. We make gods of other people. We let other people dictate our lives. We're so afraid of what other people may think that we tell to our souls, respetuhin mo tong tao to. Respect this person more than God. Respect your boss more than God. Respect your friends more than God. Respect your parents more than God. Respect your prof more than God. And it's a very subtle lie in your heart. And it dulls your senses. For all the gods of the peoples are worthless idols, but the Lord made the heavens. You're going to find a lot of people who claim to be self-made people. That somehow they know how to live and they've got it all together and they've got it all right. And though they have no regard for God as you have regard for God, but you're going to meet people like that and they're going to appear very scary. But understand, there is no such thing as a self-made person. Your prof, God made your prof. Your parents, God made your parents. Your peers, God made your peers. Your boss in the future, God made your boss. If God decided, I don't want that person's heart to beat today, it won't. It will die. Everything lives and moves and has its being in Jesus. And so with who will you respect more? And who will you live for? Maybe there's an awkwardness in your relationship with God now. Because somewhere along the road, before today, that you said, this person, I'm going to fear him more than God. And there's this awkwardness, and you let it, you procrastinated for so long, and that somehow now you may find yourself in a situation where you're like, I don't hear God at all. He's not here. He doesn't care about my situation, and this and this and that. In reality, you've done yourself already so much. You've been telling your soul over and over again, respect that person, don't respect them. And I tell you, you can choose to live that way, live for another person. You can do that if you want. But you're going to be very sorely disappointed. Because, verse 6, splendor and majesty are before Him. Strength and beauty are in His sanctuary. Are you looking for beauty? Do you fear a person because of the person's beauty? You know, you let that person control your life because you're so over that person? Well, God's splendor. Think of God's splendor. Think, blow your mind, blow your socks off kind of vision. God, majesty are before Him. Strength and beauty are in His sanctuary. Did you fear somebody because of what they could possibly do to you? They could hurt you. Think God's strength. Think what God can do. Did you fear a person because a person could possibly reward you with certain things? Think God reward. Think God ability, buying power. He owns every single thing in existence. The greatness of God calls us to a life of praise. There are three praises. The first praise is the praise without exception. First praise is the praise